What's up guys, Nimbus Reviews here, back with another One Piece video. With the events that took place at the end of chapter 1037, I decided to make a video explaining why I think the devil fruit that the Gorosei were talking about is actually the ancient weapon Uranos, and is also the thing that Blackbeard's after. To fill everyone in on my theory, basically I think that Uranos is actually devil fruit that was renamed to Uranos by the world government at the end of the Void Century, and they renamed it to hide its capabilities from people who would use this power against the world government if they were to get a hold of it. For me, this is an effective strategy because not only does it hide the name and in turn the ability you'd get from eating it, but it also hides what it actually is from everyone. If someone was to know that there was some sort of powerful devil fruit that even the world government is afraid of, then there would be a lot more people like Blackbeard who are hunting down devil fruits, increasing the chance of someone obtaining it. It also allows them to have a better hold on people being able to research it, because it's easy for them to prohibit the research of an ancient weapon of mass destruction rather than a naturally occurring magical fruit. At least without people getting suspicious anyways, because why would they outlaw researching devil fruit when they themselves use and study them? And that's why I think it's much easier for them to restrict the research of it by renaming it to something else. And those are the basic reasons why I think it was a good idea for the world government to rename the devil fruit to something completely unrelated, rather than renaming it to another devil fruit as a lot of people have suspected. Because like I said, it gives them a way to hide its power, but also deters most people from researching it. And we can see this from how most people treated Robin, knowing that she researched the ancient weapon. Even someone as easygoing as Iceberg viewed her as an evil devil. So it's not likely that many people would like to research any of the ancient weapon. Now that I've given you my reasons for believing that the fruit they're talking about is actually Uranos, I'd like to give you reasons for not thinking that it's a fruit that we already know. Before I get into that though, the reason I chose Uranos and not Pluton is because we really don't know anything about Uranos yet. And we're getting near the end of the story, so it's about time that Oda starts bringing it up so we can probably learn what it is properly, because we already know what Poseidon is, and for the most part we already know what Pluton is. We've never seen it or anything like that, but we do know that it's a battleship that is able to destroy an island in one shot. But as for Uranos, we know absolutely nothing. So if this is how he's going to bring it up, I think that's a very smart way to do it, and it's the right time in the story to do it because we don't have much longer to go. Now back to why I think it's not any of the devil fruits we already know. In my opinion, if you believe that it's a fruit that we already know, then a few things have to be true. So if it's a fruit we know, then one, it has to be a fruit that isn't known to the world, or two, the person who has it is hiding its name as well. Now it doesn't have to be both of those things, but if one of those things aren't true, then it's unlikely for it to be that devil fruit, as a Gorosei would already know of its existence. There are a few fruits I'd like to cross off as being potential options for the fruit they were talking about, and I'll start with probably the most likely option, Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi. Like, I can't really fully cross this one off because obviously it's always going to be an option. He's a main character and he's becoming more and more of this destiny child as the story progresses, so I wouldn't be surprised if his devil fruit is even more special than Oda has already hinted at. Now, obviously he's a main character and he's made waves throughout the world, so his devil fruit is very known, and he's one of the only people who actually shout his devil fruit's name before almost every attack. So the first thing I said doesn't apply, but now does the second. The person who has it is hiding its name as well. Now this has brought up a lot of discussion within the community, whether you learn the devil fruit's name when you eat it, or you have to find out its name through the devil fruit encyclopedia or other means. And the official translation of chapter 435, I think it was whatever chapter we were seeing the new devil fruits for CP9 back in Indy's lobby. They were explaining that you kind of learn the power and the name of the devil fruit once you eat it. But a lot of people have brought up that this may be a mistranslation, because almost every other translation of this does not say this. Honestly, in my opinion, you do learn the name of it, you learn the power, or else there's a lot of people I wouldn't understand how they would even know the name of their devil fruit. Because as we know, it seems like the devil fruit encyclopedia isn't something that's easily obtained. And as we know, Luffy wasn't even the first one to say his devil fruit's name. I'm pretty sure it was Lucky Roo, or one of Shanks' other crewmates. So it could be the case that Luffy's not using its true name, maybe not intentionally, but because Lucky Roo and Shanks' other crewmates and Shanks himself called it the Gomu Gomu no Mi, he just went along with it, and in turn unintentionally hiding its name from the world. Either that, or obviously Shanks would know the importance of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and he intentionally told Luffy to hide its name for reasons we just don't know yet. If you believe one of those two things happened, then I can see why you would believe it's Luffy's devil fruit. But one thing is kind of putting me off from this being the actual option, which is the Gorosei seem to know the importance of Luffy's devil fruit, but from the fruit they were talking about, it's almost like they didn't know if it actually even existed anymore. Like they said, it's a legend even to them. But if they had this devil fruit in their possession a little bit over a decade ago, then obviously it wouldn't be a legend to them. We know they were still alive and in power at that point. So for that reason, I'm kind of ruling out Luffy's devil fruit as a possible option. Now, I do think Luffy's devil fruit is special. I just don't think it's connected to the current situation. Now, I have seen a few people mention Law's Op fruit, but I think this one is easy to cross off because we know the world government and the Marines already know about its existence, and they already know what it's capable of because they were willing to pay 5 billion berry for it back in Law's flashback. Tama's devil fruit has also been brought up a lot recently, and honestly, I don't really have anything to disprove it, and I think it's a very viable option. I just don't really like how it would play out in the story, so I'm not placing my bets on it. But if you do believe that, I don't think it's something stupid or anything anyone should put down any more than any other devil. Because if it really is the fruit that somebody in the past used to control Zunesha and make her walk for as long as she has, I wouldn't be surprised if the Gorosei was so scared and viewed as such a legendary fruit. Because if it can control Zunesha, who knows what else it can control? Sea kings, or maybe dragons if they were alive, anything, any sort of creature. Maybe even if it was awakened zone. But yeah, that's my opinion on Otama's fruit. I don't really like the idea of it story-wise, narratively, so that's why I'm not placing too much bets on it. But I can see where people are coming from. Next, I'd like to talk about Yamato's fruit. Not a lot of people are talking about it. I know some people have brought it up. But honestly, I think this one holds a lot of weight considering what's been said about it and all we know about it. There's a few reasons why I think it's a viable option. The first thing is what Kaido said about it. When he was talking to Yamato, he said that that fruit wasn't for her and that he went through a lot of trouble to get it. And because of that, she has to be Shogun of Wano now. At least that's what he wants. And also, it was said that her devil fruit is known as like the guardian protector of Wano. And this connects to what the Gorosei was saying, in my opinion, and that they were saying the more pressing matter is what's happening in Wano, not what's happening outside. And for them to then start talking about a legendary devil fruit that right after talking about Wano, kind of making us believe that it may have something to do with Wano or with what they were showing us, which was Zunesha. So in my opinion, if you believe this is true, connecting that line to what Kaido said about it being the guardian deity and her having to be the Shogun of Wano now because she has that fruit and how much trouble he had to go through to get it, I think that really adds to the theory. And we do know Wano is important for one reason or another. You know, a lot of people already theorized it, but Kaido basically confirmed it by saying he chose Wano for a reason and Yamato doesn't even know it. So something that's viewed as a guardian, like deity basically of Wano, has got to have some importance. I'm just not sure if it has so much importance that it's a legend even to the Gorosei, who are supposed to basically know everything. And that's really the only downside I see to the theory. But that's basically all. So I think it's a good viable option if you believe it. I'm personally not placing any bets on it, but I think it would be really cool if it was the case. And it would add more importance to Yamato's character because right now she kind of doesn't really have any, even though a lot of people like her. I like her a lot. And I want to join the crew, but besides her being a cool character, there's really nothing else there. So maybe it's just because I like her that I'm even thinking this, but yeah, that's an option in my opinion, and a few other people that I've seen. But on to the next one. Next is Kaido, and honestly, I don't think this is an option at all. He has a very powerful and probably important in some way fruit. I don't think it's connected to this. The Gorosei have known Kaido's had this fruit for about 40 years now, so it would just kind of be weird to me if all of a sudden they're like, that fruit can't exist. It hasn't been awakened in centuries upon centuries if they've known for this long. So I don't think Kaido's fruit is an option. And in turn, Momo's isn't, and Momo's is an artificial copy of Kaido's. So anyone who has mentioned that, I don't really understand their reasoning, but let's move on. Now, this is something I don't really have any clue about. People keep mentioning Chopper's devil fruit, and I didn't see anyone explain it. I just keep seeing it in the comment section. I haven't seen any YouTube videos about it or any theories anywhere else. I haven't really watched any on this topic yet just because I haven't made my video yet, so I've been waiting. But I keep seeing Chopper's devil fruit being brought up, and I don't know why. So if any of you guys know why, please let me know down in the comments below, because I'm really interested in that one, and I'm looking forward to seeing if it holds any weight. Another person I see bringing it up is Brooke. Again, I don't know the reasoning behind this, so if you guys do, please let me know in the comment below, because again, I'm interested in this one as well. I was seeing kids devil fruit brought up a lot, Honestly, this makes no sense to me, and everybody who's claimed it hasn't defended it at all, so I don't think it's a real option. Now, this is the final devil fruit I'm going to talk about, and honestly, it's the one I think holds the most weight in correlation to what the Gorosei said. Obviously, they said it's a legend even to them, and it hasn't awakened in centuries upon century. And one devil fruit we know for a fact has been out of circulation since the Void Century up until about 20 years ago is Toki's Toki Toki no Mi. And as we know, Toki's all the way from the Void Century. She was born there, and she kept jumping through time and jumping through time and jumping through time, trying to make her way to Wano. And like we said, Wano's important, and she claims that her parents are from Wano, but that's the only fruit we know of that's been out of circulation for so long, or that's been out of circulation at all. Because unless somebody has it, it can't be out of circulation. So for something to not, quote unquote, awaken for centuries upon centuries, would that not mean it's just out of circulation because someone had it? Or somebody just hasn't found it? I don't think they would use the word awaken if someone hadn't had it. I think they couldn't find it, so they assumed it was gone. It just vanished. And as we know, Toki left. That's why it was gone for so long. So if the Gorosei were to find out that somebody had that power and sent Odin's followers into the future 20 years ago, then I could see a reason for them to be talking about this fruit in this way. Because if they weren't alive in the Void Century, but they hear these stories about a time fruit that up and vanished, it would make sense if they were to believe it's just a legend in their eyes, because why would a devil fruit just all of a sudden not existing? So for me, Toki's devil fruit honestly has the most foundation on why it can be it. Even more so than the theory I'm going to get into. But personally, it's a theory I prefer and would like to happen more, so it's the one I'm going to talk about. And I honestly think it will happen, or it can happen, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being fruit that they're talking about. But yeah, like I said, that covers all of the theories on the devil fruit users that we already know. Now, my theory is a little different. I think, like I said earlier, that the devil fruit is actually Uranus, or Uranus, however you want to say it. And like I said, this would be the perfect time to start revealing information about this ancient weapon, because it's the only one we don't know much about. And not only do I think it's an ancient weapon, but I also think Blackbeard's going to go after it. And the reason I believe this is because before this, the only thing we knew that the Gorosei were worried about or talked about is what Shanks talked to them about, a certain pirate. And me and a lot of other people believe that this pirate was Blackbeard. I know some people think it was Luffy, but I don't really see that be the case. So I'm going to place my bets that it's actually Blackbeard. And that Shanks told them, Blackbeard's going after Uranus, this devil fruit. So now that they're talking about all the situations across the world, they're like, well, we don't even know if that legendary fruit is actually even real. Like, the world government renamed to Uranus, but it's still just a legend to us. We haven't seen it, we haven't heard of it or anything. And them kind of not believing that it's true or that Blackbeard is actually going to get his hand on this ancient weapon or devil fruit kind of leans into this trend that Oda's been starting where people kind of aren't listening to Shanks, Whitebeard died because he didn't listen to Shanks. Ace died because he didn't listen to Shanks. Now I think Blackbeard's going to get one of the most powerful things in the world because the Gorosei didn't listen to Shanks. Honestly, this theory is more of a hunch than anything. I do have a little bit to back it up, but it's kind of just a feeling I get from how Oda's writing the story. We know Blackbeard is making his move soon. Oda said Shanks is making his move soon, but we haven't seen anything. So what if this is laying the blueprint for what's going to happen? Shanks is trying to stop Blackbeard from getting this thing. Blackbeard's going to get it anyways because he's not getting the help that he wants from the Gorosei. He's not being taken serious. So we're going to see this ancient weapon. And if a lot of people believe that Shanks is going to die to Blackbeard, he definitely won't be dying to him now. Blackbeard's not strong enough to take out Shanks and his whole crew. But if he were to get this legendary fruit that even the world government's afraid of, yeah, that could put him over the edge and give him a way to actually defeat someone as powerful as Shanks. And that's basically all I have for my theory. And I do know a lot of people are connecting this devil fruit to Zunesha. Honestly, I think it's a complete red herring. The conversation had nothing to do with what was happening outside of Wano, with Zunesha pulling up and the world government just waiting out there. And Oda's just using it to kind of lead his readers astray so they can't predict what's actually going to happen with this devil fruit and with Zunesha. So I'm going to make a video later talking about why I think it's in Wano, because I don't think it has anything to do with this devil fruit. But I'm going to have to think about it a little bit because really I don't really have any ideas yet. I just know Kozuki, they have a connection to the Minks. The Minks live on top of Zunesha. And for some reason, she's here now. It could be connected to Dama's devil fruit, but that doesn't make it have to be Tomo's devil fruit that the Gorosei were talking about. Maybe a Kozuki from the Void Century had that devil fruit and ordered Zunesha to not come until the fated day that Joy Boy will return, and supposedly it's now. You know, that's what Odin said, that's what Roger said. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into that topic because this is mostly about what the Gorosei said, and I don't think they're connected. So anyways, guys, I know this video is kind of long. At least I think it is. I haven't edited it yet, so I don't know how much is going to get cut out. But if you like this video, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think the devil fruit is? Is it connected to Zunesha? Is it connected to Wano at all? Who do you think it belongs to? Have we seen? Just let me know your thoughts on this chapter, just in general. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe, because I'm going to be more diligent with uploading, because I really have a lot of fun talking about One Piece like this. And I know at least a few people like watching me, so I'm going to try uploading more and more. But with that being said, guys, until next time, later.